And for more on this, let's bring in now Peter Beyer. He is the coordinator of Transatlantic Cooperation in the German Parliament. Welcome to you and good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
I understand you've actually been in Washington in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, recently.
The transatlantic relationship, it seems to be in shambles. Fair assessment?
Yes, they have been easy at times before. A lot of pressure is out there that we can feel. We have a broad range of topics on the table that are a burden for the transatlantic relations, Iran nuclear deal, the current tariff conflict, and Nord Stream 2 and some other things. So that is on the table and we have to deal with it.
Why can't the Europeans seem to outsmart Donald Trump? I mean, because up until yesterday, the U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, he said that the U.S. is willing to negotiate. So who's dropping the ball here, Europe or the U.S.?
No, I wouldn't say that it's one playing against the ball against each other, the other. But it's true there have been a lot of negotiations going on before. It's not that nobody was talking to anybody until the very last minute. For example, the German economic minister Peter Altmaier, as has the EU Commissioner Cecilia Malmström. A lot of people have negotiated and tried everything to prevent this, from happening. What we see now that June 1st, the tariffs are implemented on steel and aluminum. This is not a good signal. Not good for the transatlantic relations. Not good for the economy. So, and I think we have to negotiate and talk further.
What is Europe not willing to give the United States that the United States wants right now?
Well, from the discussion that I had, for example, at the DOC, Department of Commerce, and the National Economic Council in Washington, they were clear that they said they expect from the European Union a quota, so that maybe on the trade volume in steel and aluminum of 2017 we put in a quota, and then they would be open for anything else to discuss about. But look, I mean, we think, and we're quite sure that it's against WTO regulation, and we want to play by the WTO regulations. We believe in it.
Let's talk a little bit more about the WTO regulations and what the Europe plans to do now. Because, for example, now the EU announcing countermeasures. Is that wise, though? Because the United States, for example, has announced that it has now launched, as of yesterday, an investigation into the auto industry here in Germany. And that would be quite a punch, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, it would be. But first of all, I think we have to take seriously what Donald Trump says. We cannot say, oh, there's still hope, and he's not doing, and he's not delivering. This guy means what he's saying. He has announced this. And at the very latest, when he asked the DOC to look into automobile tariffs, this is something that we have to take serious. So I think this is quite realistic that we will see countermeasures then again from the other side, from the United States. And so that we might be seeing an escalation of this. We are not in a trade war yet, but I hope we will never go there. So again, negotiations is something that is needed. WTO is something, again, that we strongly believe in, but also, I mean, 500 million Europeans are the citizens that we are responsible for in Germany and all the other countries. And we have to protect them. We are responsible to represent their interests.
What do you mean when you say take seriously the issue? Because, I mean, if, for example, the automotive industry is indeed targeted, how is Germany prepared to react?
Yeah, Germany, when it comes to trade, since the Lisbon Treaty, everything that has to do with trade is on the European Union level. So, of course, our government is doing everything to, represent the German industry's interests there. It will hit us. And again, we are not there yet. I mean, the automobile tariffs have not been announced, but I think it's something that we have to look into. It will be bad. It will hit German car manufacturers, but also the truth is it will as well hit car manufacturers in the United States.
You're in a difficult position right now, aren't you? I mean, you have this title here, Coordinator of Transatlantic Cooperation. Trump doing what he promised when he got elected, basically getting hard on Europe, getting hard on, countries and blocs that are traditionally seen as allies. How are you navigating that?
Well, what gives me hope, though, is giving all these things that we have on the table, Iran, tariff, burden sharing, Nord Stream 2, and all these. What gives me hope is everybody, senators, representatives, high representatives of the administration, are emphasizing how important transatlantic relations are to them. So then sometimes you wonder why then it comes everything together in such a close period of time. But they are strongly believing in a strong transatlantic relation, so this gives me hope. And also positive signals when it comes to revisiting, relaunching something that we called back then TTIP negotiations. I don't see it right now. There are other issues on the table, but they want to talk about fair and free trade across the Atlantic. That gives me hope. So we should not turn away from the Americans. We, again, should take them seriously, and they have to take us seriously as well.
With that optimistic assessment, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. Peter Beyer, Coordinator of Transatlantic Cooperation in the German Parliament. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.